Move now to Mr. Coffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Ambassador, let me start with you. So, in your investigation of the problems at the hospital, did you concluded that there were a lack of standards, that were set in place, and that was part of the problem? Am I correct in that?
Yes, Congressman, I would agree with you. That was a very significant part of the problem, because I think even part of the ethical issue that our medical mentoring personnel were having had to do with not knowing exactly what it was their role was supposed to accomplish in terms of mentoring their personnel. So it was very hard to see where the line was in terms of what they should be helping them to do to accomplish. I think the introduction of standards is absolutely critical. It was something we identified at least 3 or 4 years ago. I think, as I recall, there was a visit by the Surgeons General of our Army, Air Force, Navy, and they also pointed out several years ago that without standards, how could you have a focused mentoring mission, and how could you hope to possibly achieve an appropriate in-state objective?
And that was a function of training. Is that a part? The establishment of standards is a part of the training mission.
It is part of the NTM Alpha Cystica responsibility. Is that?
That's correct, and that was General Caldwell's responsibility, was it not?
Well, it was during the time that he was there, and of course it was a responsibility that preceded him and succeeded him.
And I think, in my view, he displayed a fundamental lack of leadership in the performance of those duties, and there will be a further investigation of this. I think a hearing in 2 weeks in the Oversight and Government Reform Subcommittee that will go into much greater depth. And I've talked to some of his staff, or my office has talked to some of his staff. I've talked to one member of his staff directly, and my office has talked to another. And I think that the problem really rose to the top in my view, and it's stunning that he's still serving today in the United States Army after all that has occurred here. Let me say that I think that Mr. Sedney, that your description of events is fairly sanitized. Is it not true that there were Afghan security forces dying in the hospital from suffering malnutrition, suffering from untreated wounds, because in fact their families couldn't come up with the necessary bribes for the hospital personnel? Isn't that in fact true?
Representative Coffman, as I said in my statement, there were a wide range of abuses and problems in the National Military Hospital for a number of times. As we increased the number of our advisors there, and as those abuses were brought to our attention, we began to take action to try and address them, and that action has been difficult because of the level of medical care, as Representative Cooper pointed out there, but also because of because of problems with the way individuals were acting. Getting the change in the leadership in the hospital was essential, and getting in place the standards that the ambassador mentioned. So where we are today is a great deal farther forward than we were 2 and 3 years ago when the conditions that you described existed. I would say that the biggest problem that looking back at it is that when we began this effort, it was underfunded and under-resourced. And it was only after we increased our number of advisors in the post-2009 period that we were able to take the effective action that we have, so the situation today is so much better than it was during the period you're describing.
Well, I just to say how slow the command was to respond, and how slow you were to respond to this issue as it filtered up in terms of talking to some of the people that were mentors on the ground, and at the point in time where they knew that there was a problem to the point in time that action was taken, there was a tremendous gap that doesn't, in my view, reflect the competence and leadership. Let me With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back. Hope that there will be a second round.